So let me paint you a picture. It's Sunday night, you're scrolling through your bank account on your phone, and you see that number staring back at you. You made $73,000 last year. That's more than your parents made at your age. That's technically above the median household income in America. And yet, you've got maybe $200 in your savings account. Your credit card balance is hovering around $6,800, and you genuinely have no idea where all the money went. If that hits a little too close to home, you're not alone. And what's wild is that you're not broke because you're irresponsible. You're broke because you're following the exact playbook that broke people follow, and nobody ever told you there was a different way to play the game. My name is James, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart, hard-working people stay broke, while others with the same income build serious wealth. If you're someone who makes decent money but can't figure out why you're still living paycheck to paycheck, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Today, we're breaking down 7 money habits that are quietly destroying middle-class wealth in 2026. And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like stop buying lattes. I'm talking about the subtle, socially acceptable financial behaviors that will keep you broke for decades if you don't change them right now. Let's get into it. Here's the thing. The average new car payment in America right now is $738 a month. The average used car payment is $532. And here's what most people don't realize. When you finance a lifestyle upgrade, you're not just buying the thing. You're locking in a monthly expense that will drain your wealth-building capacity for years. Let me show you the math on this. Let's say you finance a $35,000 car at 7% interest over 6 years. That's $738 monthly payment. Over the life of that loan, you're paying $53,136 for a car that's worth maybe $18,000 by the time you finish paying it off. But here's where it gets really interesting. If you took that same $738 per month and invested it in a basic index fund averaging 10% annual returns, in 6 years you'd have $68,000. In 20 years, that's $557,000. You're not choosing between a nice car and an old beater. You're choosing between a depreciating asset and over $500,000 in wealth. Now, you might be thinking, but James, I need a reliable car to get to work. Look, I get it. But there's a massive difference between buying a reliable $15,000 used car in cash and financing a brand new SUV because you deserve it after getting a raise. Quick question. How many subscription services are you currently paying for? I'm talking about everything. The meal kit service you used twice last month, the premium LinkedIn you forgot you have, the fitness app, the cloud storage, the Amazon Prime, the meditation app you opened once. According to recent consumer data, the average American is spending around $219 per month on subscription services. That's $2,628 per year on things that automatically charge your card while you're not paying attention. Over a decade, that's $26,280. Invested over 30 years at 10% returns, that's $455,000. Here's what's insidious about subscriptions. They're designed to slip under your mental radar. A $12.99 monthly charge doesn't feel like real money, but when you add up 7 or 8 of these, you're bleeding 200 plusms every single month. Here's the move. This week, go through your bank statements for the last 3 months. Write down every single recurring charge. Then ask yourself, if I had to resubscribe to this service right now and manually enter my credit card information, would I actually do it? If the answer is no, cancel it today. This is the big one. This is the habit that keeps high-income earners broke. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's absolutely brutal. Here's how it works. You get a promotion. Your salary goes from $60,000 to $75,000. That's an extra $1,250 per month. Finally, you think you can breathe, you can save. But then something weird happens. Within 6 months, that extra $1,250 has completely disappeared. You moved to a nicer apartment. You upgraded your car. You started eating out more. And somehow, you're still living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher income level. This is where it gets really interesting. A study by the Federal Reserve found that for every $1 increase in income, the average American increases their spending by 90 cents. That means when people get raises, they're only banking 10% of the increase. The math is devastating. Let's say you start at $50,000 at age 25 and get 4% annual raises until you're 45. If you keep your lifestyle at that initial $50,000 level and invest the difference, you'd accumulate around $520,000 over 20 years. With compound interest, that could grow to well over $1 million. But if you let your lifestyle creep up by 90% of every raise, you'd invest only about $52,000 over that same period. That's $1 million mistake. Look, I'm not saying you should never improve your quality of life, but here's the rule. Every time you get a raise, immediately increase your automatic investment contribution by at least 50% of that raise before you even see the money. You can lifestyle creep with the other 50%, but you've locked in the wealth building first. Here's a question. When you're making a big purchase, what number are you focused on? If you're like most people, it's the monthly payment. Can I afford $180 a month? Not, how much does this actually cost? Not, how much interest am I paying? This is exactly what retailers want because it allows them to hide the true cost. Furniture stores love this. Just $49 a month for this couch. What they're not advertising is that you're paying $49 a month for 48 months. That's $2,850 for a couch that costs $2,500 if you paid cash, because they've built in 22% interest. Here's the shift. Before you buy anything significant, calculate the total cost, not just the sticker price, the actual total cost including all interest. Then ask yourself, if I had to pay this total amount in cash right now, would I still buy this? If the answer is no, you can't afford it. Wait, save, buy it later. When you get your tax refund, what do you do with it? If you're like most Americans, you treat it like a windfall. You splurge. Maybe you take a vacation. You treat yourself. Here's what most people don't realize. A tax refund isn't a gift. It's your money that you overpaid to the government, and they're giving it back to you with zero interest. The average tax refund in America is around $3,000. That means the average person is giving the government a $3,000 interest-free loan every single year. But here's the bigger problem. Because you get it as a lump sum once a year, you treat it differently than your regular paycheck. There's actual psychology research on this. It's called mental accounting. Your paycheck goes into the serious money bucket. Your tax refund goes into the fun money bucket. Here's what you do. Adjust your W-4 withholding so you get closer to zero at tax time. That puts an extra $250 per month in your paycheck. Then set up an automatic transfer to your investment account for that $250 on the day your paycheck hits. Look, here's the brutal truth. There is never money left over at the end of the month. Your expenses will always expand to consume your income if you let them. I see this all the time. People say, I'll start investing once I have more money, or I'll put whatever's left into savings at the end of the month. And then the end of the month comes and there's $47 in the account. Next month, same thing. Next month, same thing. Meanwhile, the person making the exact same income who set up automatic investments of $500 on payday before they see the money is building wealth. This is where the math gets absolutely wild. If you invest $500 per month from age 30 to 65 at a 10% average annual return, you'll have $1.9 million at retirement. But if you wait until you're 40 to start, you'll end up with only $730,000. Waiting 10 years cost you $1.17 million. Here's your action step. This week, set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to a brokerage account. Start with whatever amount won't cause you to overdraft, even if it's just $100. Schedule it for the day after your paycheck hits. This is the deepest one. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that the goal of money is comfort. A comfortable home, a comfortable car, a comfortable life. And look, comfort isn't bad. But if comfort is your primary financial goal, you will stay broke forever. Here's the thing. Comfort is expensive, and the cost of comfort is constantly increasing. A comfortable middle-class life in 2026 costs way more than it did in 2006. The goalposts keep moving, And if you're chasing comfort, you'll never catch up. Meanwhile, wealthy people have a completely different orientation. They're not optimizing for comfort. They're optimizing for freedom. The freedom to quit a job they hate. The freedom to take 6 months off. The freedom to say no. And here's the plot twist. Freedom requires temporary discomfort. It requires living in a smaller place than you can afford. Driving an older car. Saying no to expensive dinners. That's uncomfortable. But here's what happens. Every dollar you don't spend on comfort is a dollar that's working for you, compounding, building toward freedom. In 10 years, your friends who optimized for comfort will still be comfortable and still broke, and you'll be free. So there you have it. 7 money habits keeping middle-class Americans broke in 2026. Here's the good news. You can change all 7 this week. Cancel the subscriptions tonight. Set up automatic investments tomorrow. Adjust your W-4 on Monday. You don't need more money to start building wealth. You need different habits. Get these 7 habits right, and you'll build more wealth than 90% of people making twice your income who have these habits wrong. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment and let me know which of these 7 habits hit the hardest. Remember, you're not broke because you don't make enough. You're broke because you're following broke habits. Change the habits, change your life. I'll see you in the next one.